What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another music reaction. Today, I got a treat for you guys. I got a good one. I've never heard this, and quite frankly, I've only met a few in my life. So, this will be interesting to kind of dive into and give it a listen to my ears. Now, we'll kind of do some research after this to discover a little bit of the history behind it, but this is Ballad of the Green Berets by Staff Sergeant Barry Sadler. Let's get into it.
Fighting soldiers from the sky, fearless men who jump and die, men who mean.
Now, this is an actual video that was shot for this theme song, and I just want to say that's so cool. You actually have Staff Sergeant Barry Sadler right here with the Green Beret insignia in the background, and he's dressed very formal, obviously in his greens, I don't know what they call it, and he has his green beret on. So this is very, very formal and patriotic. So
just what they say, the brave men of the Green Beret, silver wings upon their chest. These are men, America's best. 100 men will test today, but only 3 win the Green Beret.
whoa.
Trained to.
Let's just take a pause right there. That must be some rigorous training for 100 men to test for a Green Beret, and only 3 get selected. That is insane. Now, I don't know how old this is. This kind of is looking like a video made back in maybe the late 70s, early 80s. Even then, back in those from the 60s, I mean, going all the way back to like the 40s, all the way to the 80s, it was a different breed of men, and the amount of mental toughness you have to get through this is insanity. You just have to suck it up. You get sick, suck it up. You have a blister, suck it up. You sprained your ankle, anything. I mean, you can, from what I've heard, you can get dropped for the littlest things as far as medical conditions go. So even if you like fractured, like something in the lower extremity, if you really want it that bad, you're gonna have to suck it up, or else you're gonna get dropped. And it's a pretty extensive pipeline you have to go through. It's not easy. It's not something you can just send in an application and boom, you're off to go be a Green Beret. No, it's months of waiting. It's a whole 2-week course just to even be considered to go through the pipeline. So I can only imagine how it was back in, Staff Sergeant Sadler's military days. But here we go. We'll get back into it.
Live off nature's land, trained in combat, hand to hand, men who fight by night and day, courage take from the Green Beret, silver wings upon their chests. These are men, America's best. 100 men will test today, but only 3 win the Green Beret. Back at home, a young wife waits.
It's giving me goosebumps, low key.
Has met his fate.
Oh,
He has died for those oppressed, leaving her this last request. Put silver wings on my son's chest, make him one
Wow,
of
I feel
America's
that.
best. He'll be a man they'll test one day. Have him win the Green Beret.
That's insanely patriotic. When I hear this, I'm just inspired. Being someone who grew up in a military family and having that expectation of joining the military, now my life has took me in a different direction. I've always wanted to be a Green Beret for these reasons. It just takes a different breed of man to become a part of the best of the best. These guys are the best of the best. They're jumping out of airplanes, helicopters, into whatever terrain there is. I mean, now there's different tiers of, special forces and special operations. The amount of opportunity you have to do in the military is insane within the special forces community. I mean, he says that they live off the land and they're trained in combat hand to hand. Just imagine that. You're in a confrontation with the enemy forces and you have no weapon and you have to fight hand to hand. You got to live off the land. I mean, just imagine no food, no weapons, no nothing. That's insane. Like I was saying, that takes another breed of just a human individual. And it's crazy to just understand and know what kind of training these guys go through. Let's just do some research about it real quick. Let me go to ChatGPT. When and why were the Green Berets organized? All right, here we go. The U.S. Army Special Forces, commonly known as the Green Berets, were officially established on June 19th, 1952 at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. They were formed during the early years of the Cold War. Why were they created? After World War II, the U.S. realized it needed specialized units capable of handling unconventional warfare, especially as tensions grew with the Soviet Union. The Green Berets were organized to train and support foreign resistance forces, helping allied nations fight communist influence, conduct guerrilla warfare, operating behind enemy lines, counterinsurgencies, fighting irregular forces rather than traditional armies, psychological operations, and unconventional missions, influencing populations and destabilizing hostile regiments when necessary. Now, the big picture. During the Cold War, the US wasn't just preparing for large scale wars, it was preparing for proxy wars, insurgencies, and ideological battles around the world. The Green Berets were designed to be culturally adaptable, language trained, small team oriented, experts in working with local populations. Now, why? Let's see. John F. Kennedy organized, calling it a symbol of excellence in special distinction. In one sentence, let's see, come on. The Green Berets were created, obviously, 1952. All right, we don't need that. What I want to know is what is the pipeline? What is the training? Now, these guys were fighting in Vietnam. We actually have a Medal of Honor recipient down in my hometown who was a Green Beret and he fought in Vietnam. And it's just insane to hear the stories and to see a living Medal of Honor recipient who grew up in your hometown become one of America's best is super patriotic. All right, so it's telling me some basic stuff, but this is the bread and butter of what I want to know. So you have Special Forces Assessment and Selection. That's 24 days, 2 to 3 weeks, just to be assessed and see if you're going to be selected. Now they go through land navigation, they do ruck marches, they do team events, they do a psychological screening. And it's not necessarily about strength, it's more so about mental resilience, leadership, and problem solving. So let's say you get selected. What's the next course of action? So after you get selected, often called the Q course, this is where you become a Green Beret. You go through phase 1, small unit tactics. So, infantry skills, patrolling, ambush operations, direct action. Then you go to phase 2, which is your actual MOS training in the military. And they have different MOSs you can have within the Special Forces community. You got a weapons sergeant, you got an engineer sergeant, you got a medical sergeant. Wow. And then you go to phase 3. You learn language and cultural training, which is about 4 to 6 months. Then you go to phase 4, which is famously known as Robin Sage. So it's a multi-week unconventional warfare exercise in North Carolina where you work with role-playing acting as guerrilla forces, build resistance networks, conduct missions behind enemy lines, plan and execute unconventional warfare. Wow. After you pass that, you earn your Green Beret. So let's see. After the beret, you continue your training in ongoing advanced schools. You deploy regionally, and you go through constant training cycles. I wonder if that's how it was back in Staff Sergeant Sadler's military days, where you had to go through that kind of pipeline. I'm curious to know when he went through it. Let's see why they came up with this song. All right, here we go. So this song was written in 1965 through 1966 during the early years of the Vietnam War. The song was created to honor the Green Berets and their sacrifices, boost morale at home, present a heroic image of Special Forces to the American public. So Barry Sadler was an actual Army Special Forces medic who had been wounded in Vietnam. After returning to the U.S., he co-wrote the song to tribute to the men he served with, fallen soldiers, and the idea of elite warriors protecting freedom. It wasn't meant to be political. It was a patriotic and symbolic song. Just again, imagine that. Imagine being wounded in Vietnam as a Special Forces medical sergeant. I mean, that has to be crazy. I mean, he's a medical sergeant and he's supposed to take care of his fellow comrades, and he gets wounded. And now he comes back because he wants to show support and he wants to show the American people what it really means to be a Green Beret. Now, I honestly get goosebumps just listening to the song because it's so patriotic and heroic. It shows a side of symbolism to the American people. And, honestly, we'll just rewind it and we'll go back from the beginning because I want to take another listen to the song.
The brave men who jump and die.
I fast forward a little too far.
Who jump and die. Men who mean just what they say. The brave men of the Green Beret. Silver wings upon their chest. These are men, America's best. 100 men will test today, but only 3 win the Green Beret. in combat.
I just want to mark out that he has a straight face throughout this whole song. That's powerful.
Hand to hand, men who fight by night and day. Courage take from the Green Beret. Silver wings upon their chests. These are men.
And then we'll just fast forward real quick.
Back at home,
Right here.
a young wife waits. Her Green Beret has.
Now, we live in a day and age where you can make a living off anything. But back in the 60s, back in the 40s, it was like if your parents were in the military, it's kind of like going to college. You're expected to, right? You're expected to join the military. So for someone being a Green Beret and unfortunately losing their life to a battle they believed in a country they believed in, and they come home with a flag and he's saying, I just have one expectation for my son. Tell him that he's going to become a Green Beret. That is so patriotic. That's insane.
Has met his fate. He has died for those oppressed, leaving her this last request. Put silver wings on my son's chest. Make him one of America's best. He'll be a man. He'll test one day. Have him win the Green Beret.
It takes a special kind of person to go through this selection process. I mean, not just anybody can go through it. 3 are selected out of 100. I'm sure the statistics are different now, but man, if that doesn't show you what it takes to become one of America's best, to really defend, this great nation of ours, then I don't know. That's just so inspirational. But that was Ballad of the Green Berets by Staff Sergeant Barry Sadler. Now, if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like down below. And let me know in the comments what other kind of songs you want me to listen to. I'm going to be doing more reactions, and I want to hear from you what you want me to react to. This doesn't go anywhere without you. You're the #1 contributor and supporter to this whole channel. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you guys so much. And let me know down in the comments what you think. And again, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, peace.